the kids get paid for their work, so obviously there has to be some fundraising. What helps perpetuate this mural project?
Well, I mean, in Pittsburgh, we are blessed to have an outstanding foundation community. You know, great foundations for the arts, such as Times Endowments, Pittsburgh Foundation, Grable, that funds the education component of our programs, Buell Foundation, PNC Bank. We have.
Do these foundations come to you, or do you tend to have to go do that work yourself? Do you have to be aggressive?
Yeah, I go and fundraise with them. I mean, you know, we get some CDBG grants as well from different political offices and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, with the foundation, just like anything in life, I mean, you got to do what you say and say what you do. And so some of these relationships they've been funding us for over 10 years in a row. So it's and sometimes we'll get a multi-year grant, which is helpful. So we don't got to, you know, we know what we have planned for 2 years or 3 years, which is helpful.
Now, if we visited one of your sites where a mural is being painted, just tell us, what would we see?
There's usually about 12 kids at each site, one manager. The manager does do some painting, but I'd say the manager's main goal is just to assess the materials and make sure all the guidelines and the rules are being followed, safety guidelines. I mean, the materials, I mean, you have to put them away correctly with paint or they'll be destroyed. So, and then you'll see an artist painting. And usually when you go on site, you'll see everybody working. I love it when when I pull up to one of the work sites and everybody's just quiet, just painting. And because that means they're just really into the art. But we do encourage them to talk to each other. I mean, most of these kids don't know each other, and now that's one of the main things with the program. We're creating a positive peer group, especially for those at-risk kids that may not have that positive peer group. So we do have times where we encourage them to talk about the art that they're doing, because once the art is selected by the community, we don't just do paint by the numbers. You know, we have a certain design that is selected by the community, but then we have spaces that are allocated, okay, for the kids to do their own mural within a mural. So not only they're working with the artists, they're learning some techniques, but now they have to think about the message that they want to do, and through the steps of our curriculum, they learn how to relay their thoughts into a visual image. So it ends up being several different stories all in one mural, which is a lot like life. I mean, there's several different, it's all about the point of view, and there's several different angles. So if you really go and look at one of our projects, you'll see little small stories within the overall story, and they all relate together, and they come up with it together. So that's the times where we really encourage them to, you know, to talk and talk about your piece and be proud of it. And again, that's one of those life skills that they can take, giving a presentation at work or whatever. Look somebody in the eye and be proud of what you've done.
When you have an idea for a mural, do you have to submit it to the community? Is there maybe a committee? Maybe you have to make a small version of that mural in order to satisfy local concerns?
Well, there's always a process. I'm coming from a meeting today. There's always, every mural is different, and every project's a little different. We had a community process for this mural today, but then last minute there was some concerns about the design, and so just address those concerns. I mean, there's
what kind of concerns? Tell us, please.
Well, I mean, we just got a grant from the Pittsburgh Foundation to bring an international artist into Pittsburgh to work. So we brought in one of the greatest artists living, Paola Delfin, came in from Mexico. And she has a really unique style and beautiful style, and we showed the community the designs from the feedback that they provided us of what they wanted to see. And then last minute, it's actually a babies, beautiful, you know, babies. But there was a concern that you know, they're babies, they're naked, but they're babies. So there was a concern, and then we addressed this is children, you know. So and everybody understood. So it's just step by step. There's always, every project's a little different, but.
So it makes you think when you're dealing with public art,
right.
You're not just thinking about your own sensibilities. You got to be sensitive to other people.
I mean, right. I mean, we're not just painting what we want to paint. Again, you know, over years, millions of people will see it. You know, definitely thousands, and they're going to see it. Some of the residents are going to see it every day. So that's, you know, that's part of it. And that's something you want to be respectful of. and it's exciting part of it. It gets frustrating sometimes, but I like that part of it. I like other people's input, and one of the best things when you're painting a mural, one of the best things, especially when you're doing somebody realistic. I remember at Monroeville Mall painting Mr. Rogers, right? And so this was one of my first big commissions in the history of Pittsburgh. Everybody knows what Mr. Rogers looks like, right? So I'm painting him, and a younger kid said, "Is that King Jong-il?" Or well, I forget his name. I'm saying it wrong, but the president of North Korea.
Dictator, right.
I'm like, oh, I just whited it out. I said it's obviously not right. But then later on, it was a kid again who said, "Oh, Mr. Rogers, mommy," and so that's when I knew I had it right. So it's little things.
You made some subtle changes and.
Some subtle. Well, I had to make some big changes.
Big changes.
Yeah. So that I don't want to equate those two at all. But yeah, when they say yeah. So interesting.
Now, without going on a tour of Pittsburgh, it's hard to get a grasp on just how many murals and how many square feet you've covered in Pittsburgh. So try to just give us an idea of how many murals you've done, how far apart they are, how big they are.
Yes, square feet, I'm not that good at math. My mom's a math teacher, so I wouldn't be able to figure that one out, unfortunately. But we've done nearly 400, and it's been just in Allegheny County. And I mean, we have all the way from Carnegie to McKees Rocks. I mean, we have every corner of it, to North Hills, to whatever, every corner. And I think there's over, I forget the number, there's over 100 different neighborhoods and communities within Allegheny County. And we've done, it's just probably a couple we didn't do, but we've done all corners. We've done almost all of them. And so a lot downtown, a lot in different neighborhoods, but really a wide variety of different types of neighborhoods. And I've gone to some places I've never gone, and I haven't been back since. Just for doing the mural, and they're right here in Allegheny County. Yeah.
How about some of the kids that you've dealt with, particularly at-risk kids? Have you seen a kid who was maybe a real handful at first, and then they really came around, and it was just gratifying to see some kind of progress with that kid?
Yes. Several kids. One kid, I would say one of the most popular kids, and he said it on his MTV show, and so I gotta give him a shout out. But Mac Miller, he, famous rapper. He was on the cover of Billboard magazine, super successful, super proud of him. But when he was acting up, he was kind of silly, great person, but he needed a little bit of discipline at first. But yeah, he went through the program and actually helped film a movie that we have, Art of Life. And he's in that movie, and I recognize the talent, but he had to do a couple things to take it to the next level. And not gonna say I'm all part of that, but definitely just playing a small role in the great stuff he's done has been humbling.
Now let's talk about your background. You were brought up in Pittsburgh, right?
Brought up in Pittsburgh. Mom and dad both teachers. I grew up in the Wilkinsburg area of Pittsburgh.
That's not far from where we are now.
Right, it's right outside actually of the Pittsburgh city limits. It's a town called Wilkinsburg. Anytime I tell somebody I'm from Wilkinsburg, they always have that look like, oh, that's nice. But yeah, I mean, definitely, there's a lot of good people in Pittsburgh. But it was tough growing up there, and a lot of friends that I had growing up, not here anymore. Some definitely a lot of gang stuff in the 90s that I saw and made it through that stuff.
Well, you said you've been doing this mural project for, was it 14 years?
14 years, yeah.
So have you seen changes in communities and neighborhoods that, just cause you concern, and maybe kids getting involved in things they shouldn't?
Yes, I mean, there's always going to be, obviously in life, there's good and bad. There's always going to be, some things that happen. But, one thing I can say is through the artwork, sometimes the art can help make a change. So I'll go back to Wilkinsburg. There's a neighborhood within Wilkinsburg on Franklin Avenue and Wood Street specifically. And that was an area where it's a dead end, and there was always, I never would walk there as a kid. I mean, people would do, you never know right there. It was just an area you didn't go. It was a dead end area. And So the city of Wilkinsburg they didn't even have the street lights on right there. It didn't do any landscaping or anything. It was just like a blighted area. So we went in and did a beautiful mural there with a bunch of kids, and we did it over 2 years. But then that made the borough go, and they got all the lights together. They did the landscaping. They fixed the concrete right there. So that was a way that the art, and that's something I'm proud of. That was a way that the art helped to help a community. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I'm sure it does.
Change it sometimes. So.
Well, let's